I was wrapping up a site inspection when my phone started buzzing. 3 missed calls from my wife in under 2 minutes. That's never good. Before I could call back, it rang again. Someone broke into the house. Her voice was shaking. Actual panic, or at least it sounded like it. Everything's destroyed. The TV, our stuff, everything. I kept my tone steady. Are you safe? Are you hurt? I'm fine, I'm outside, but... She paused, and when she spoke again, her voice dropped. I think it was Garrett. My best friend since college. The guy who helped me move furniture when we bought this place. What makes you think that? He has a key. And after that argument you two had last month, I know it was him. The argument. Right. Garrett had called her out at a dinner party for constantly putting me down in front of people. She'd been furious about it for weeks. Listen to me, I said, already heading to my truck. Call 911. Actual police, not me first. Do it now. But shouldn't we? Call them. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I made it in 12. 2 patrol cars were already parked outside, lights off. My wife stood on the front lawn talking to a uniformed officer, arms wrapped around herself like she was freezing despite it being 70 degrees. She rushed over when she saw me. Thank God you're here. They're inside now, looking around. I walked past her toward the house. The front door was wide open, no visible damage to the frame or lock. Inside, our living room looked like a tornado had hit it. The TV was shattered, glass everywhere. Drawers pulled out, cushions thrown around, picture frames knocked off the wall. But something felt off. I've done construction for 15 years. You learn to read a scene. This wasn't right. An officer approached me. You're the homeowner? Yeah. My wife called about a break-in. We're still assessing, but I have to say, it's strange. No forced entry that we can see. Windows are all intact. Your wife mentioned someone might have a key. My friend Garrett. But he wouldn't do this. My wife appeared in the doorway. He was so angry after that dinner. He basically accused me of being a terrible wife in front of everyone. He said you were being disrespectful. I corrected. There's a difference. She shot me a look that could melt steel. Are you seriously defending him right now? Look around. I was looking around. That was the problem. The TV was smashed, sure, but it was still mounted on the wall bracket. If someone broke in and knocked it down, it would have fallen. This looked like someone hit it with something while it was hanging there. The drawers were pulled out, but nothing actually seemed missing. My laptop was sitting right there on the coffee table. Our wedding photo was face down on the floor, glass cracked, but carefully placed, not thrown. Do you have any security cameras? The officer asked. I saw my wife's face change. Just for a second. A flicker of something. No, she said quickly. We've been meaning to install some, but... Actually, I interrupted. We do? I installed a smart home system 6 months ago. Cameras in the living room, kitchen, and both entrances. The color drained from her face. Those don't record. They're just for monitoring. They record to the cloud. Continuous feed. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I forgot about those. The officer looked between us. Can you access that footage? Absolutely. I pulled out my phone. Give me 1 second. My wife grabbed my arm. Wait, maybe we should just... Maybe Garrett disabled them somehow. Let's not waste time on. I pulled my arm free and opened the app. The officer stepped closer to look at my screen. This shows live feed, I explained. But I can scroll back. What time did you say this happened? Around 1 o'clock? Her voice had gone quiet. I set the timestamp to 12:45 and hit play. The officer watched silently beside me. At 12:52, my wife appeared on screen. Alone. She looked around, then picked up the TV remote and threw it at the TV. It bounced off. She grabbed a table lamp instead, yanked the cord from the wall, and swung it like a baseball bat. The TV screen splintered. She hit it 3 more times. Then she went to work on the rest. Methodical, deliberate. She pulled out drawers, threw cushions, knocked over the bookshelf. The whole performance took maybe 8 minutes. When she finished, she stood in the middle of the chaos, looked around like she was checking her work, then walked out of frame. The officer's expression had gone completely neutral. Mr. Hayes, can you send me that footage? Of course. My wife was backing toward the door. I can explain. This isn't. You don't understand what I've been going through. The stress, the pressure, Ma'am, I'm going to need you to stay right here, the officer said. Another officer had appeared, positioning himself near the doorway. This is insane. Her voice climbed an octave. I'm the victim here. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I just forwarded the video file to the officer's email and pocketed my phone. Actually, I said, I think we're about to find out exactly who the victim is. The lead detective arrived 20 minutes later. Detective Rowe, mid-50s, looked like he'd seen every variation of human stupidity and wasn't impressed by any of it anymore. He reviewed the footage on his tablet while my wife sat on the porch steps, one officer standing nearby. She'd gone quiet, which was somehow worse than the yelling. "Mr. Hayes, can you walk me through your day?" Rowe asked. "Left for work at 7 this morning. Had 3 job sites to check. My wife knew my schedule. She usually does. And this friend she mentioned, Garrett? Garrett Bishop. We've been friends for 12 years. He's a machinist over at Precision Components. Works second shift, 3 to 11. Rowe made a note. So he'd be at work right now. Has been since 3 o'clock, yeah? You can verify that pretty easily. Oh, we will. He glanced toward my wife. Your wife seemed very certain he was involved. She's been angry at him since he pointed out how she talks to me in public. That was about 3 weeks ago. How does she talk to you? I shrugged. Like I'm an idiot who can't do anything right. Garrett finally said something about it. She didn't take it well. Rose studied me for a moment. You don't seem particularly surprised by any of this. I'm not. Disappointed, maybe, but not surprised. My wife's voice cut through from the porch. Are you just going to let him stand there and trash me? I'm having a mental health crisis. Rowe didn't even look at her. Ma'am, you'll have your chance to speak in a moment. He turned back to me. Has she done anything like this before? Not to this extent, but she's made accusations before. Small stuff. Claimed a coworker was stalking her until HR reviewed the security footage and found out she'd been following him. Said her sister stole money from her purse until her sister showed bank records proving otherwise. It's a pattern. Why'd you stay? Good question. Kept thinking she'd grow out of it. Kept thinking if I was just patient enough, supportive enough, it would get better. I looked at the broken TV through the doorway. Clearly, I was wrong. Rowe nodded slowly. I'm going to need to speak with your wife now. You should probably step away for this. Gladly, I walked to the end of the driveway and called Garrett. He picked up on the second ring, machines humming in the background. Hey man, what's up? Are you at work right now? Yeah, why? You sound weird. Police might call to verify. My wife staged a break-in at our house and tried to blame you for it. Silence. Then she what? Smashed our TV, tore the place apart, called 911, told them she thought you did it because you have a key and were angry about that dinner. That's... He exhaled sharply. That's actually insane. Yeah, unfortunately, she forgot about the security cameras. Whole thing's on video. Holy hell. Are you okay? I'm fine. Honestly, I'm relieved. Been waiting for her to do something this stupid, so I'd have a genuine reason to end it. You've been wanting out? For about 2 years now. Just didn't know how without her making my life impossible. I watched the detective gesturing as he spoke to my wife on the porch. She just handed me the exit on a silver platter. What happens now? She'll probably get charged with filing a false report. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. Finally be done with this. Garrett was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry, man. I know this is a mess, but yeah, you deserve better than this. Thanks. Look, I should go. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Keep me posted. And hey, if you need a place to crash or anything, I'm not leaving my house. She can find somewhere else to go. After we hung up, I watched the scene unfold on my porch. Detective Rowe's body language had shifted, arms crossed, stance wider. My wife was talking rapidly, hands moving. The detective just kept shaking his head. Finally, he stepped back and said something to the other officer. My wife's voice rose again. You can't be serious. I'm the one who called you. I walked back over. Rowe met me halfway. Mr. Hayes, based on the evidence, we're placing your wife under arrest for filing a false police report. It's a misdemeanor, but given the deliberate attempt to implicate an innocent party, the DA will likely pursue it. Understood. You'll need to come down to the station to give a formal statement. Probably tomorrow morning works. I'll be there. My wife was on her feet now, the officer guiding her toward the patrol car. This is ridiculous. I need help, not handcuffs. Doesn't anyone care that I'm clearly struggling? Rowe didn't bite. Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent. She talked over him the entire time he read her rights. When they put her in the back of the patrol car, she locked eyes with me through the window. The look on her face wasn't remorse. It was fury, pure, undiluted rage that she'd been caught. I felt nothing. Maybe I should have felt something. Guilt, sadness, regret. But standing there watching her being driven away, all I felt was tired, and maybe a little bit free. Detective Rowe handed me his card. Lock up the house when you're done here. And Mr. Hayes, document everything. Photos, videos, any texts or calls she makes from jail. People like this don't stop just because they got caught once. Already planning on it. He nodded and headed to his car. Within 10 minutes, everyone was gone. Just me and a living room full of broken glass and manufactured chaos. I grabbed a trash bag from the kitchen and started cleaning up. It felt appropriate somehow. Sweeping up the pieces of a marriage that had been broken long before she took a lamp to our TV. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You did this on purpose. You wanted me to look crazy. This is your fault. I blocked the number and kept sweeping. Tomorrow, I'd call a lawyer. Tonight, I'd sleep better than I had in months. The next morning, I was at the police station by 8. Detective Rowe had coffee waiting, which I appreciated more than he probably realized. Your wife made bail around midnight, he said, sliding a folder across the desk. Posted by her mother. She's been calling the station every hour since, demanding to speak with the chief. Sounds about right. We've compiled the evidence. The video footage, the lack of forced entry, timestamps showing you were at work sites across town. Your friend Garrett's employer confirmed he clocked in at 3 p.m. and never left the facility. Pretty airtight. I signed the formal statement he'd prepared. What happens next? She'll be arraigned in about a week. The DA's office is taking it seriously because she specifically tried to frame someone. That elevates it beyond just wasting police resources. He leaned back in his chair. Between us, they're looking at charging her with filing a false report and potentially making false statements. Combined, she's looking at up to a year in county jail and fines. Will she actually serve time? First offense? Probably not. But she'll have a criminal record, community service, probation. And if she violates that probation, he left it hanging. My phone had been vibrating in my pocket throughout the entire conversation. 12 missed calls. 8 from her mother's number, from numbers I didn't recognize. Rowe noticed. Family reaching out. Her side, yeah? Mine are 3 states away and don't get involved in drama. I silenced the phone. I'm filing for divorce today. Want to get ahead of whatever narrative she's building. Smart. One more thing. He pulled out another sheet. This is an incident report number. Give this to your divorce attorney. He'll want documentation of the arrest. I pocketed the paper and stood. Thanks for handling this professionally. Just doing the job, but for what it's worth. He walked me to the door. I've been doing this 26 years. The ones who stage crimes against themselves, they don't stop. Whatever you're planning, make it permanent. I found a divorce attorney 2 blocks from the station. Sharon Blackwell came recommended by a guy I'd worked with whose brother went through a difficult split. She listened to the whole story without interrupting, occasionally making notes on a legal pad. Do you own the house jointly? She asked when I finished. It's in both names, but I paid the down payment from my savings before we got married. I can prove that. Good. Any kids? No. Thank God for that, at least. Assets. Retirement accounts. Vehicles. 2 cars, both paid off. Mine's a 2015 truck I bought before we met. Hers is a 2018 sedan we bought together. I've got a 401k from my employer. She works part-time at a dental office. No retirement that I know of. Sharon wrote quickly. This should be fairly straightforward, especially with the criminal charges pending. Courts don't look kindly on spouses who commit crimes and try to frame innocent parties. We can file on grounds of irreconcilable differences. Push for a quick dissolution. How quick? Kentucky has a 60-day waiting period minimum. But given the circumstances, we might be able to expedite. 3 to 4 months if she doesn't contest. She'll contest. They usually do. Sharon closed her notepad. My retainer is $1,500. We'll draft the papers today, file by end of business. You'll need to have her served. I recommend using a professional process server, not the sheriff. Less dramatic. I wrote the check. One more thing. Can we get a restraining order? Based on what? I showed her the blocked text messages. 3 more had come through from different numbers overnight, all variations of blame and threats. She's using different phones to contact me after I blocked her. And Detective Rowe warned me she'll escalate. Sharon photographed the messages. We can file for an emergency protective order. Given the arrest and these communications, a judge will grant it. That means she can't contact you directly, can't come within 500 feet of you or your home. Perfect. By noon, everything was filed. I grabbed lunch at a place near the courthouse, sat in my truck, and finally listened to the voicemails. Her mother's voice, shrill and accusing. How dare you have my daughter arrested? She's going through something and you betrayed her. Her sister, you know she didn't mean it. Can't you just drop the charges and work this out? Two friends of hers I'd met maybe twice. She's devastated. This is so cruel. Nothing from her directly, which meant she'd been advised by a lawyer not to contact me. Smart. I deleted them all and called my own mother in Tennessee. Hey mom, sweetheart, I was just thinking about you. How are things? I'm getting divorced. Silence. Then, carefully, I see. Do you want to talk about it? I gave her the abbreviated version. When I finished, she sighed. Honestly, I'm relieved. I never told you this, but at your wedding, she snapped at the photographer so rudely I almost said something. Your father had to talk me down. Why didn't you say anything? You seemed happy. I thought maybe I was being overprotective. She paused. Are you okay? Really? Yeah, I actually am. It's like finally admitting something I knew for a long time. Good. You deserve better, honey. You always have. After we hung up, I drove to the house. Changed the locks myself. New deadbolts, new handle sets, the works. Took maybe 40 minutes. Then I packed up everything of hers I could find. Clothes, toiletries, books, that collection of decorative pillows she insisted we needed. Loaded it all into her car and parked it at her mother's house with the keys in the mailbox. Sent one text to her mother. Her belongings are in the car at your place. Don't contact me again. Back home, I walked through each room. Without her stuff everywhere, it looked bigger, cleaner, like the house could finally breathe. My phone rang. Garrett. How'd it go? Divorce filed, restraining order pending. Her stuff's gone. All in one day. Damn, you don't mess around. 2 years of waiting will do that. Once I decided to move, I moved fast. Fair enough. You need anything? Actually, yeah. Want to help me pick out a new TV this weekend? Apparently, I need one. He laughed. Absolutely. And this time, we're getting the extended warranty. That night, I ordered pizza, drank a beer, and watched Netflix on my laptop. The living room still had the mount on the wall where the TV used to be, a visible reminder of the chaos. But sitting there in the quiet, no tension, no walking on, no constant stress, I realized something. The peace wasn't just about her being gone. It was about finally choosing myself, about drawing a line and meaning it. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Detective Rowe, protective order approved. Active immediately. You're all set. I raised my beer to the empty room. Here's to new beginnings. Tomorrow, I'd start putting the pieces back together. Tonight, I'd just enjoy the silence. The arraignment was scheduled for Thursday morning. I didn't have to attend, but Sharon suggested I show up. Shows the court you're taking this seriously, she explained over the phone. Plus, her attorney might try to paint you as vindictive. Your presence demonstrates you're simply seeking accountability. So I put on a decent shirt, showed up early, and sat in the back of the courtroom. My wife arrived 10 minutes before her case was called, flanked by her mother and a lawyer who looked fresh out of law school. She dressed for sympathy, modest dress, minimal makeup, hair pulled back. The whole performance was calculated. She didn't look at me once. Either she didn't know I was there, or she was pretending not to. The judge, an older woman with reading glasses on a chain, reviewed the case file with visible disapproval. Ms. Caldwell, she began, my wife had apparently gone back to her maiden name already. You're charged with filing a false police report and making false statements to law enforcement. How do you plead? Her attorney stood. Not guilty, Your Honor. My client was experiencing severe emotional distress and, counsel, I asked for a plea, not a defense strategy. Not guilty, Your Honor. The judge made a note. Bail is continued at current terms. Trial date is set for. She consulted her calendar. October 19th. Discovery deadline September 20th. Ms. Caldwell, you are to have no contact with the alleged victim or any witnesses. Violation will result in immediate revocation of bail. Clear? Yes, Your Honor, my wife said quietly. One more thing. The judge looked directly at her. I've reviewed the security footage submitted by the prosecution. I suggest you and your attorney have a serious conversation about the strength of your case. Dismissed. We filed out in opposite directions. I was halfway to my truck when her mother's voice stopped me. Wait. I turned. She was speed walking across the parking lot, my wife trailing behind looking furious. We need to talk, her mother said, slightly out of breath. No, we don't. There's a restraining order. That's only for her, not for me. Lady, I have zero interest in anything you have to say. I unlocked my truck. She made a mistake. People make mistakes. She committed a crime and tried to destroy an innocent man's life in the process. That's not a mistake, that's a choice. My wife finally spoke up. I was desperate. You were never home, never paid attention to me, always chose your friends over me. I actually laughed. I worked 45 hours a week to pay for the house you trashed. And the one time Garrett said something about how you treated me, you held a grudge for a month and then tried to get him arrested. You're not desperate. You're manipulative. How can you be so cold? Practice. Had a great teacher. I climbed into my truck. Her mother stepped in front of my door. If you just drop the charges, we could all move past this. She'll get help, do therapy, whatever you want. I didn't press charges. The state did. And even if I could drop them, I wouldn't. I started the engine. Move, or I'm calling the police for harassment. She stepped back, and I drove off. In my rearview mirror, I saw my wife shouting something, her mother trying to calm her down. That afternoon, Sharon called. Heard you had an encounter in the courthouse parking lot. Word travels fast. The prosecutor's office got a call from courthouse security. They have cameras. Your ex-wife's attorney is claiming you instigated. Of course she is. Fortunately, the footage shows otherwise. Her mother approached you. You attempted to leave. They blocked your vehicle. If anything, it strengthens our case. Our case, the divorce. Her behavior demonstrates a pattern. Judge will take note. Papers rustled in the background. Speaking of which, she filed a response to the divorce petition. She's contesting the asset division and requesting spousal support. On what grounds? Claims she sacrificed her career to support yours, that she's entitled to half of everything including your retirement account, and that she needs $3,000 a month in support while she rebuilds her life. I pulled over. She works 20 hours a week by choice. She's never sacrificed anything. I know. We'll fight it. But it means this won't be quick or easy. She's going to drag it out as long as possible. Let her. I'm not giving her a dime she doesn't deserve. Good. Because between us, her attorney is incompetent. He filed the response 2 days late and forgot to include required financial disclosures. We're going to bury them. 2 weeks later, I was finishing up a job site when Garrett called. You're not going to believe this. Try me. Your ex-wife showed up at my work. I nearly dropped my measuring tape. She what? Waited in the parking lot until my shift ended. Started yelling about how I ruined her marriage, how I turned you against her. Security had to escort her off the property. Please tell me you called the police. Already did. They're filing charges for violating the restraining order. Apparently, it covers staying away from witnesses too, and I'm listed as one. Good. Let her dig the hole deeper. She looked unhinged, man. Like genuinely unstable. Eyes all wild. Hair a mess. Nothing like the polished act she usually puts on. After we hung up, I called Sharon and gave her the update. Perfect, she said, with unmistakable satisfaction. Every violation makes our case stronger. At this rate, she'll be facing jail time before the trial even happens. That evening, Detective Rowe called. Mr. Hayes, we arrested your ex-wife this afternoon for violating the protective order. She's being held overnight, arraignment tomorrow morning. What's the bail going to be? Judge will probably set it higher this time. She's demonstrated she's a flight risk and won't follow court orders. Could be anywhere from 5 to 10,000. Her family has money. They'll post it. Maybe. But here's the thing. Every arrest, every violation, it's building a pattern. If she keeps this up, eventually no judge will grant bail. She'll sit in county until trial. How long would that be? For the false report trial? About 2 months. And if she's convicted, she's looking at actual jail time now, not just probation. She's making every possible wrong move. After he hung up, I sat on my porch with another beer and thought about the woman I'd married 5 years ago. Or rather, the woman I thought I'd married. Looking back, the signs were always there. The way she'd rewrite history to make herself the victim. The constant need for drama and attention. The inability to accept responsibility for anything. I'd just been too close to see it clearly. Or maybe I hadn't wanted to see it. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Checking in. How are you holding up? I typed back, better every day. And the surprising part? It was actually true. The trial came faster than expected. Her second arrest for violating the restraining order convinced the prosecutor to push for an expedited hearing. I sat in the courtroom while they played the security footage. Watching it on a big screen, in front of a judge and jury, made it even more damning. You could see the deliberation in every movement. The way she tested the lamp's weight before swinging. The pause to check her work. Her attorney tried to argue temporary insanity. My client was experiencing a mental health crisis brought on by marital stress, and the prosecutor cut him off. She had the presence of mind to remember which items had sentimental value and avoid breaking those. She specifically targeted replaceable electronics. She texted her husband immediately after to establish her false timeline. This wasn't a crisis. This was calculated. The jury deliberated for 40 minutes. Guilty on both counts. Her mother sobbed in the gallery. My wife just stared straight ahead, emotionless. Sentencing was set for 2 weeks later. Sharon told me to expect 90 days in county jail, 2 years probation, and a permanent record. She'll probably serve 60 days with good behavior, Sharon explained. But the probation means any violation, anything, sends her right back. The divorce finalized 3 days after sentencing. The judge awarded me the house, my truck, and my full retirement account. She got her car and had to pay her own legal fees. Given the defendant's criminal conviction and demonstrated pattern of deception, the judge stated, the court finds no basis for spousal support. Petition denied. My ex-wife's face went red, but she said nothing. Her attorney looked relieved it was over. Walking out of that courthouse for the last time, I felt something lift. Not happiness exactly. More like the absence of weight I'd been carrying so long I'd forgotten it was there. Garrett met me at a sports bar downtown. How does it feel? Like I can finally breathe. I took a drink. Took me 2 years to admit I made a mistake. Took her 2 months to prove I was right. What's next? Honestly, nothing dramatic. Just going to work, fix up the house, maybe take that fishing trip we've been talking about. Sounds boring. Good. I've had enough excitement to last a lifetime. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Proud of you, honey. I smiled and put the phone away. Sometimes the best ending isn't the dramatic one. It's just the one where you finally get to move forward. And for the first time in years, that's exactly what I was doing. 6 months later, I was replacing the deck railing when Garrett pulled up with coffee. House is looking good, he said, handing me a cup. Getting there. One project at a time. I stepped back to admire the work. Redid the bathroom last month. Kitchen's next. Heard from her at all? Not directly. Her probation officer contacted me once to verify I hadn't been harassed. That's it. I took a sip. She got out of jail last month. Moved 2 counties over, apparently. Good riddance. Yeah. I set down the coffee and grabbed my drill. You know what's weird? I don't even think about her anymore. It's like that whole chapter just closed. That's healthy, man. My therapist agrees. I grinned. Started going a few months back. Figured I should probably work through some things. And turns out I ignored a lot of warning signs because I didn't want to admit I'd made a bad choice. Kept thinking if I just tried harder, it would work. Garrett nodded. Classic mistake. Won't make it again, though. Learn my lesson. I lined up the next board. Actually started dating someone. Met her at Home Depot of all places. Seriously? She was buying paint. We started talking. She's a teacher, divorced 2 years ago, has her life together. It's refreshingly normal. That's great. I'm happy for you. We worked in comfortable silence for a while. The kind of quiet that comes from genuine friendship, not awkward tension. My phone rang. Detective Rowe. Mr. Hayes, just wanted to let you know your ex-wife's probation was revoked yesterday. What happened? Failed a drug test. Tested positive for prescription pills that weren't prescribed to her. She'll serve out the remainder of her sentence. How long? About 14 months. Thought you'd want to know. After I hung up, Garrett raised an eyebrow. Everything okay? Yeah, just confirmation that leaving was the right call. I picked up my drill again. Some people never learn. I'm just glad I'm not responsible for her anymore. Amen to that. That evening, sitting on my newly finished deck with a beer, I thought about everything that had happened. The chaos, the lies, the legal battles. And then I thought about the peace that came after. The freedom to make my own choices without constant criticism. The ability to trust my own judgment again. My girlfriend texted, "Still on for dinner tomorrow?" I smiled and replied, "Absolutely." The house wasn't perfect yet. Neither was my life. But it was mine, built on honesty instead of manipulation, on respect instead of control. And that made all the difference.